Assalamu alaikum. How are you guys? I hope you will be fine. So today we will be discussing ethical consideration and research. This is our chapter number 8 in the poster and research course. So these are the today's lecture's objectives. So why do we need to study ethics and research? What is the importance of ethics and research? So while looking at the definition of the ethics, so ethics are the moral codes which guide the members of the profession in proper conducts of their duties and obligations. So the philosophical study of moral values and rules is called ethics. So without the ethical principles and without the ethical morals and without the ethical rules and regulations, conducting a study will be so much risky. If you omit any one ethical principle while conducting your study, so it can risk your participants a lot. So that's why ethics is important while you are conducting a research, a study in your sample, your population. So this is the beauty of the ethics. Without ethical principles, your study will look so much risky and so much faulty. But with the inclusion of ethical principles, your study will be aesthetic. So that's why ethics is important. So looking at the research ethics, it actually provides guidelines for the principles for the responsible conduct of biomedical research. In addition, research ethics educates and monitors scientists conducting research to ensure high ethical standards. So it will ensure the safeness of your participants. It will ensure the safety of your organization. It will ensure the safety of the researchers. So that's why ethics is important. So ethics is very much important because it makes your study safer and much more safer. So ethical versus unethical researches, like ethical studies protect subjects and are carried out using scientific principles, while unethical research include scientific misconduct, fraud, research protocol violations, fabrication. What is a fabrication? A fabrication is artificially creating data. A research study is not conducted, but you are faking a data. So we call it fabrication when it should be collected from an actual experiment. Falsification is manipulation of research instrument, materials, or processes. If someone is going to manipulate the whole research instruments or materials or process, so we call it falsification. It means the study is manipulated in a wrong way, is falsified. Plagiarism is the act of presenting the world's ideas, images, sounds, or the creative expression of others as your own. If let's suppose you are going to copy, or you are going to copy the work of some other person while do not giving the credit to that person, so we call it plagiarism. So if you are presenting someone else's work, so you have to mention him or her. You have to cite him or her. You have to cite the authors of the original research article. Or putting subjects at risk without consent. Let's suppose your participants are not aware of the risks, of the benefits of the study, and you have conducted a very risky study on some participants without their consents. So we will call it an unethical research, not an ethical research. So that's why this is the main difference between an ethical and unethical research. So sometimes PUUB is we call them, the acronym is called the elements of ethical research. By P means protecting human rights, while an ethical research include the protection of human rights. And ethical research include understanding of informed consent. And ethical research includes understanding of institutional review of research. And an ethical research includes balancing benefits and risks in a study. There should not be uh, uh, such a ratio. The risks and benefits should not be present in such a ratio that could harm your participants. So if the risks and benefits are present in such a ratio that could harm your participants, so we will call it an unethical research, not an ethical research. So these are the main differences between an ethical and non-ethical researches. So that's why I mentioned before that ethics made your study very much aesthetic in nature. Very much it beautifies your study because it balances everything. It benefits your participants, it benefits you, it benefits your organization. So that's why ethics are so much important while conducting a research. So sometimes are we that are very much important while whenever we are discussing about ethics. Like the first term is informed consent. So informed consent means ensuring participants are fully aware of the research, its purpose, procedures, risks and benefits, and voluntarily agree to participate. Whatever you are doing, your participants are agreeing with you. Your participants knows about everything. So we call it informed consent. You have to make an informed consent in a written form as well, and you have to sign it. You have to understand your participants and you have to sign it. So we call it an informed consent. The next thing that is very much important in the terms is confidentiality. Confidentiality means protecting the privacy of participants by keeping their data secure and ensuring it is used only for the intended research purposes, not to use that data for any other purpose. So if you are not securing the data properly, and if you are not ensuring the use of the data for the intended research purposes, so you are breaching the confidentiality. So that's why confidentiality is important. It protects the privacy of the participants. The next thing is that is very much important, very much linked with the confidentiality, is anonymity. Anonymity means ensuring that participants remain unidentified throughout the research process to protect their identity. The next thing that is very much important is beneficence. Beneficence means obligations to minimize harm and maximize the benefits for the participants. And non-maleficence, the principles of do no harm, ensuring the research does not cause unnecessary harm to participants. We call it non-maleficence. And then justice, ensuring fair treatment and equitable distribution of the benefits and burdens of research among all participants. We call it justice. Equity, not equality. So whenever there is equity, there will be justice. Respect for persons, acknowledging the autonomy and dignity of individuals and protecting those with diminished autonomy. Integrity, maintaining honesty and accuracy in conducting and reporting research. And accountability, that is, researchers being responsible for their actions and the ethical conduct of their research. So these are the much more important terms that are very much important while regarding your final term examination papers, because such terms always and always comes in the MCQs form and you have to remember it. So why does ethics why the ethical considerations are so much important? Due to these experiments like the Nazi medical experiences, the Tuskegee syphilis study, the Willowbrook study, the Jewish chronic disease hospital study, the Nuremberg Code, and the Declaration of Helsinki. Some experiments went on, and those experiments were very much harmful, very much risky for the participants. Those were unethical in nature. And after the conduction of those experiments, the researchers, the organizations, the human rights organizations, they were very much concerned about such ethical rules and regulations to bring it on the ground, to protect the participants, to protect the risks, to avoid the risks. So that's why ethicals rule and regulation and the codes and regulations comes in the way of while conducting a research. So we will be discussing it one by one, inshallah. So I hope that you should understood today's lecture. If you have any query, so you can ask me on my WhatsApp number or my email ID. I will always be available. Thank you so much, and Allah Hafiz.